This is my Maxpedition Sitka. It's an excellent option for an EDC, especially if you're looking for a sling bag. I carried this bag every day for just about 6 months. It treated me very well. This bag is loaded with features that gives you a great amount of versatility and the ability to really create a system that's perfectly tailored to what you need. With just about the right amount of features and details, this bag allows you to organize the things you carry every single day in a manner that will certainly make your life a whole lot easier. To get a better understanding of the contents that I carry in this bag, take a look at my prior video that goes into detail about the items. But this video is not so much about the items, rather the bag and how I fit those items in this sling bag to create an effective system that I use to keep myself organized and to have all the stuff I need with me on a daily basis. First off, when you talk about Maxpedition, you know it's about quality. I've carried this bag for almost 6 full months and everything's in literally perfect condition. All the zippers function perfectly, the webbing's in excellent shape, there's no stitching that's come apart, the fabric is in perfect condition with no stains, no tears or rips. It's everything you'd expect from Maxpedition. Now you'll notice right off the get-go I have one of these admin pouches strapped onto the outside. One of the good things about the Sitka is it does have plenty of MOLLE, so there's plenty of options in terms of adding pouches or slinging things onto the bag. Some Maxpedition bags lack MOLLE, but most of them are pretty full of MOLLE, and in this particular case, there's definitely an adequate amount. But even with the adequate amount of MOLLE, it's still a little bit awkward in some ways. So for example, there's only 2 sets of MOLLE going down the front of the bag. Now yeah, there's 4 high, but that doesn't necessarily do you too much good in some cases, simply because if you look at the style of some of these pouches, this particular pouch needs 3 to hold it on firmly. So I find that I can really only use 2 attachment points when I put it on the bag, and the third side is kind of flapping in the breeze. So this third piece, in reality, doesn't even get connected on. And so I found a way to deal with it, but it's not really ideal. I found that after I attached the MOLLE on the 2 locations, the third location required me to lace some of these straps together. So for example, I would clip the pouch like this, and then I would take this button, thread it through, and button it onto there just to hold it into place so it wasn't flapping in the breeze. Now obviously that's not ideal, so this pouch might not be the best choice. However, it's the pouch that I have and it's the pouch that I wanted to use. So if that's going to be a deal breaker for you, you might want to look at a bag that has a slightly different configuration in the front. Now the intended purpose of this button is pretty much to A, give you a lashing point of some sort, but B, create a retention system to lock your bag essentially shut. So if you want to, you can loop your zipper pull through and fasten that to create a snug fit that somebody can't open. But I don't really use that feature. I don't find the need to lock my bag. It's not a big deal. I don't commute with it. I keep it next to me, so I never really use that really too much for anything. It's just not really useful for me. Also on the front, you'll see a nice zippered compartment. Now inside, there's literally no organization. It's just a big open pocket, so I find I pretty much just tend to dump stuff in there. I end up with my pens and different parts of my mechanical pencils and a memory stick and all the garbage that just ends up kind of chucked in there. So it'd be nice to have a bag with a little more organization. I find I'm just usually hucking stuff in there, and that's not really ideal, but it does the job. It gets me by, and if I was smart, I'd probably get a smaller organizer and just slide it inside. Maxpedition has plenty smaller organizers. I believe one of them is called the EDC organizer. You could probably use that to manage this stuff a little bit better and slide that right inside the pocket and just maintain those items inside a pouch And that's probably a better intended use for this pocket. I just never got around to it, and find that, you know, I've moved on to other bags and never really set this up as perfectly as I could have. But that's just to show you just how open that front pocket is and what type of stuff you could fit in there. You'll notice at the top there's some webbing with a buckle that would allow you to tie anything onto it. I found that I actually just removed this altogether, and I removed this bottom one altogether. It's basically just held on with some loops, and you just remove that, get it out of the way. I found for my intended use, I didn't even need that at all. I'm not really hiking with this, and I don't carry it any place where I really need like a raincoat or a jacket, so I found that that actual feature didn't really do me too much good, and I tend to take it off altogether. Moving on to this upper compartment, one of the real nice features that I do actually like a lot is this sleeve that's across the front. Now you see there's a hook and loop field where you can put patches and stuff. I only have these two patches, and they're the only two that I've ever really carried, so I transfer them from bag to bag. But there's a good amount of hook and loop there in case you have bigger patches or more of them that you want to put on. But the sleeve across the front, you know, you'll see that there is a shock cord and the ability to attach different items to the front of that. Now, again, like most of this I've said so far, I don't really use this too much, but I have found that I've stuffed a pair of gloves or a winter hat or something like that. It's actually pretty convenient and nice to have that on there. But equally as important, it also helps to hold on my knife. Now, I do use my Mora Companion quite a bit, and I've attached it pretty much to all my EDC bags just to have a fixed blade on me. And so for this purpose, this sleeve is pretty much perfect. It slides right in. You'll see the shock cord kind of holds it on there too, and it's a really nice way to hold the Mora knife. So I'm sure there's plenty of other blades that would fit right in there, but the Mora fits absolutely perfect, and it's a great place to carry that blade. You'll notice too, I just have a little tactical pen stuffed in there. Nice amount of organization, nice ability to slide a number of items in there. And then inside the pocket, again, somewhat minimal in terms of the overall organization. You know, there's no webbing or any sort of webbed pouch on the top here, but that's okay. You know, I find I just kind of end up tossing a bunch of stuff in here. Now the good thing is it does have these elastic loops that allow you to put items in. So for me, this is kind of where I stuff a lot of the similarly sized items. Things, you know, dental floss, battery, lighters. And then inside I just have a little stash of money and some gum. So just gives you an idea about the size of that pocket, what could fit in there. Pretty simple, straightforward. Now because this bag is a sling bag, you'll notice that the zippers tend to be set up to actually hold the bag sideways. So if you're wearing it on your back and you slung it around to your front, the zippers would actually present themselves more in an upright fashion and your stuff wouldn't dump out of the bag. So for example, this particular compartment here, which is the main compartment on the front of the bag, you'll see that it actually opens up to the side and not to the top. Most bags would open up this way. The sling bag opens up to the side. So this is actually a decent sized pocket. It doesn't have a lot in the way of overall organization, no tight little refined admin style, but some good sized pockets that would allow you to throw some bigger items. So for me, I just carry a couple pads of paper. This is my field book in a Maxpedition pouch, and that's predominantly it. You'll notice that there's a bigger middle section and then two sleeves that allow you to put items in there, but again, not too much in the way of a smaller subdivided admin style pocket. Very similarly to how the front pocket opens to the side, so does the main overall compartment. If you slide these zippers out of the way, opens up almost like a clamshell, but not quite. So it is, to me, a little bit cumbersome because you can't truly open the bag all the way. If you look at the back, the zipper kind of gets stuck at a certain point and won't go any further, where on this side it opens much further and actually all the way to the back. So that creates a situation for me where this bag seems a little bit floppy. I'd really like to open this thing up all the way and get it to lay flat, but I can't. And for me, that's a little bit of a downside, but I've managed to deal with it. Now, the way I use this bag, I find that I don't generally access these items while I'm wearing it. Rather, I take it off. So the fact that it doesn't open up for me all the way is a little bit of a downside. It probably would work better for people who are actually intending on using this on their body and slinging it around and accessing different items out of the bag while they're wearing it, but that's just not how I use it. And so for me, it's not really the ideal setup. You'll even notice as I'm trying to show you these items, it's difficult for me holding the camera with one hand and trying to pull the items out with the other. So, you know, it's a little bit cumbersome, but you'll notice here's my toolkit. Fits pretty nice. You know, this is a good size kit and it fits in there no problem. I have my work flashlight and I have my emergency backup money source, which is my checkbook and a wallet that has all of my credit cards that I don't access every day. And those came out of the sleeve on the back side of the main pocket. There's two sleeves and they're pretty good size and accommodate reasonably large size items. The other side of the main compartment has a nice large hook and loop field that allows you to attach other Maxpedition pouches or any pouches from any other brand that have hook and loop on them as well. For me, this is where I keep one of these Maxpedition organizers that has some of the smaller and similarly sized items. It works out quite well, fits perfect, is able to accommodate those items without any problem, and displays them in a means that allows me to access them quickly. On this side of the main compartment, you see that there are two nice sized mesh pockets. Now these are closed using a zipper that goes combined across the top. So it's a little bit difficult in regards to the fact that if you need to access items in this pocket, obviously you're opening this pocket too at the same time. So it could be cumbersome, or it could create a situation where your items tend to fall out, but I've never had too much of a problem with it. And at least it adds some level of subdivided compartmentalization to keep your stuff organized in a good manner. Now that my stuff is removed, here's a slightly better look at the inside of the bag. You'll notice these pockets on one side of the bag, the mesh on another side of the bag, and then behind that, the large open pocket that has the hook and loop field. You'll also notice that this side of the bag allows you to clip it shut just to keep things a little bit more tidy. It's not a huge feature, nothing that I've really depended on, but it is nice to be able to satchel things down when you need to. And finally, on the back of the bag, there is a zippered compartment that allows concealed carry. Now, I don't carry a gun or generally a weapon with me other than my small fixed blade for everyday use. So this compartment was never as utilized as I probably would have liked it. The fact is, it sits tight against your back, so any lumps or bumps you do feel against your back. Now, there is a decent amount of padding, but it's certainly not enough to cushion anything that's a bumpy surface underneath, so I never really stored too much in there, maybe occasional papers, and I did actually use it a couple times for hydration bladder, so that worked out pretty well in that regard. But for an everyday carry or a concealed carry weapon, that's just not really a very useful pocket for me. In terms of the quality and craftsmanship, I mean, this bag's absolutely perfect after 6 full months of use, so I can't complain about that. The only difficulty I had is just the overall sort of floppy nature of the bag didn't really work too well for me. In terms of the shape and the comfort, it was actually about perfect for me. I'm 6'1", and this fit my frame nicely. I could get it snug and comfortable, sitting properly on my back, and it was good for everyday carry and some extended trips. I did use it hiking a couple of times just to carry a light load for myself, and it was pretty much perfect. I did enjoy using the pocket on the side of the bag for a canteen. I use a 32-ounce Guyot Designs stainless steel canteen, fit in there perfect. I've carried a number of other items in there, just helps me keep organized. I've used it almost as a dump pouch, just to throw items in real quick and keep them safe. I've used it for sunglasses and different items like that. So the pouch has been a nice feature. I have enjoyed it. So there you have it, the Maxpedition Sitka, and my experience as my EDC. You know, everybody has a different system. Everybody uses their gear differently, and they have different needs, different things they carry every day, and different items that make their lives easy. There's definitely no perfect system. It's just a matter of playing around and figuring out what works for you. So from here I moved on. I'm carrying a backpack now. I'll cover that on a later date. I hope you at least found that informative. I just want to say thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. I appreciate all your support, and it helps to keep me going. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care.